What is going on, people? It is going down, baby. The official Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence prediction video. First of all, I think this fight is a mega fight. This is like the Super Bowl of boxing or the World Cup of boxing. This is the best matchup that can be made, in my opinion, between two fighters in similar weight classes. Crawford, Spence, Crawford. People were talking about this fight for years. I don't think the fight's happening too late. I think with the fight's happening at still a very good time, probably the right time. Maybe it could happen last year, but definitely not too late. I think when you look at both guys, you look at Spence, he's got the physicality, he's got the size, the weight. He's definitely the bigger, stronger man. I think he's got the better chin. I like his inside fighting a little bit more. Jab is really good, better body attack, higher work rate. He's a pressure fighter. He's a guy who he can box from the outside if he has to, but what he's looking to do is hit the body, go to work, break you down like he did versus Ugas so greatly. Then you look at Crawford. Crawford, he's more of a dynamic fighter. He's more of an athletic fighter. Could switch stances, come forward, catch you going backwards. Great at trading. Probably has the best timing in boxing. Big power as well. Tremendous finishing ability, great hand-eye coordination, good footwork. So I look at Crawford. He's more like the guy who could do more. Spence is the bigger, stronger guy. So is Spence's physicality going to win the fight, or is Crawford's speed and footwork going to win the fight? And that's the $1 million question about this fight. What's going to happen? I know they got a rematch clause, and I know that both guys are probably going to activate it no matter what happens in this fight. I just hope that this is a great fight and that there's no controversy after the fight as far as robbery goes and that kind of stuff, because it seems like every time you get a big fight like this in boxing, some kind of controversy happens at the end of the night. But for me, I look at it, I give Terence Crawford the edge in this fight, and here's why. Terence Crawford is the more versatile fighter. Terence Crawford is the fighter who has more dimensions. I think Crawford's speed difference in this fight over Spence is going to be very apparent. I think similar to how Inoue's speed difference versus Fulton was very apparent, I think that Crawford's speed difference versus Spence is going to be very apparent. I think that Crawford has more dimensions to his game. I think he's got more one-punch power, and people are going to say, what do you mean Spence is the bigger guy? Look at who they've knocked out with one punch. Crawford's knocked out every single opponent since 2016, I believe. Spence is a big puncher too, but it's more concussive. It's more break you down as the fight goes on. I think that Crawford's a sharper puncher as well. But I think the big difference in the fight to me is the footwork. I think that Crawford's footwork and angles that he uses is going to make it very tough for Errol Spence to pin him and get, within range. Because if Crawford fights the way he fought versus Evanesian, Spence will chew him up. There's no way Crawford could fight at that mid-range that Errol Spence likes to fight at, and I think they know that. I know people said, oh, look at what he did versus David Evanesian. He's going to do the same thing versus Spence. You can't go off one fight to the next with Crawford, because Crawford, he changes up how he fights based on his opponent. The way he fought versus Kell Brook was totally different than the way he fought against Sean Porter. The way he fought against Jeff Horn, he was, moving around the ring, and then when he got to the ropes, he would turn him, and then fight like that. You can't compare that to the way he fought against a guy like Ndongo, where Ndongo, he went to the body, he was looking to trade and sharpshoot. So it's different. Versus Postal, he was boxing around the ring more, moving more. And then when you fought a guy like who's like a guy who you could kind of take it to them more, like Amir Khan, he kind of took it to him more. So I don't think you could go, one fight to the next with him. To me, the problem with Errol Spence is that he only has one mode, and that's attack, attack, attack. He has the same answer to every single problem that comes his way, and that answer to every single problem is more aggression, more work rate, bite down. That's his answer to every single problem. It's just more aggression. So to me, that could come back to hurt him for someone who's so good at trading and such a good counterpuncher like Crawford. I think Spence will win some of the early rounds, but I think Terence Crawford will win the fight. I'm going to go with Terence Crawford by unanimous decision. It could be tough in Vegas, with the judges. That's the controversy, but I think Crawford will separate himself as the fight goes on and make it clear that he is the superior talent. What I could see is Spence winning the first fight and then Crawford coming back, making the adjustments, and then winning the second fight. I could see Errol Spence winning both fights. I can see Errol Spence. I could see Errol Spence losing both fights, Crawford winning both fights. But what I cannot see is Terence Crawford winning the first fight and then Errol Spence winning the second fight. And the reason I say that is because Terence Crawford is the guy who will make the adjustments from fight to fight. Errol Spence, to me, he has pretty much one mode. And people are going to say, what do you mean? He outboxed on the outside versus Mikey Garcia and he took it to Brook. Well, he's fought elite welterweights, Brook, Porter, and Ugas. He has one mode. I don't care what you do versus lower tier opposition. And when you fought the elite, he is very textbook. He's very straightforward. I'm coming, at you. It's almost like a Triple G, but I think he has like a little bit more fast twitch than Triple G, but similar in that it's very meat and potatoes. It's very, meat and potatoes, no extra sauce, no gravy on it. Like it's very, simplistic. Again, it doesn't mean you're a bad fighter. There have been some great champions that have been simplistic. Triple G, I would even say Inoue. Like I don't think he gets so crazy. Maybe he throws a little more with the combinations. Carlos Monzon was very simple. Vladimir Klitschko was very simple. It doesn't make you a bad fighter. Like you could be simple and still effective. Devin Haney's very simple. But I think that when you fight a guy like Terence Crawford, you got to have more in your arsenal. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going with Crawford by UD. Peace.